Good morning, everyone. Wake up. Lunch is coming, though. It's okay. So to start off with, I am speaking English. I'm from Scotland, so listen carefully if you need to, let's say, practice with my accent a little bit. So I'm going to quickly go through some observations from the European Nuclear Society's YGN. I'm privileged to be the current chair of that. I have been for the past 2 years. I will be finishing up on that in June, at the end of June, sorry. So I want to give you a few messages from some of the observations I've seen over the past few years, and maybe give you some insight about what the YGN is and some of the kind of thoughts about what the young members of the industry and the research community are thinking and talking about. So the YGN, knowledge sharing community. And I put that word, sharing community, it's all about bringing ideas together and discussing things. It's not about just, here, I've got a thought, passing it over from one generation to another generation, or from one person to another generation. The whole ethos of the YGN is about collaboration. And I will talk about collaboration a few times as I go along here, because essentially that's the key area where we're trying to bring people along. A lot of young members come to the industry, and actually quite soon after they join, a lot of them start getting very passionate, and they get very passionate not just because of what they do at work, but because of the conversations and the interactions they have with the various networks, and understanding about some of the great projects and the R&D areas that's going on in Europe and elsewhere. So the ENS YGN, it covers 21 societies in Europe, believe it or not. And we've got some observer partners as well, so we interact with them and their young members groups as well. So you've got Women in Nuclear and the IYNC, for examples, and WANO also have young members groups. So we have meetings quite regularly, 3 times a year actually, committee meetings, and discuss things about how we can go out into society and talk about nuclear in a positive way, and talk to not only society and our family and friends, but our bosses and people in the industry as well, about what the thoughts are from the young members. This is a statement that we developed a while back. It's based on, we're not breaking the ground here. There's lots of things that you would have saw here before, and that's good because we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're trying to keep it rolling and maybe even trying to speed up a little bit, if we're being honest. So in the nuclear industry, we're really looking for striving for collaboration and innovative technologies. And that's one of the things I want to bring out is we have a fantastic technology and a scientific endeavour that we can progress here, but we really need to dedicate it to the right areas and the right applications and really bring out the positive projects that we can together. So we have words or actions. So that's a statement I just want you to think about. There's been a lot of talk here this morning, a lot of talk in the past years. There's been many reports that have been out over the years. Up the top there, you've got the IPCC, the 1.5 degrees report. Recently, very good report from the IEA. Very good report talking about the need for nuclear power. And a report down there at the bottom there, I'll just put your eyes on, which I thought was quite interesting. In search of a SpaceX for the nuclear industry. You know, think about that. Think about the excitement SpaceX brings to the whole area of the endeavour of going into space and making that a realistic aspect for human civilization. You know, we need to be bringing that type of feeling back into nuclear. You know, really thinking about how we can move things along, thinking about how we can fight climate change. So one of the things the YGN is very strong on is our commitment to supporting the Nuclear for Climate movement. And up there on the screen, you'll see a few pictures of a few people with some signs on there. Very happy to say we've been going to the Climate Change Conference, COP, since Paris. So we've been there the past 4 years. We're at the one last year in Poland. And yeah, things are moving forward. We are trying to get out there and talk to people. There is still some people that are maybe not totally on board. But you know what, that's okay. So what I would ask you to do is, in your communities, if you have the opportunity to support some YGN people to get involved in these areas outside of their normal job, please do. It's definitely a growth aspect to them, and they will bring back a lot to your business and to your organisation when they experience this type of communication and discussion outside of the work environment. Because you know what? Very soon into those types of conversations, we deviate along and start talking about the benefits of nuclear for society and where it can be involved. And that's really the trigger that starts getting people on board, and the smiles start going on their face, and we're start really kind of connecting with people. Some people don't really even understand that nuclear medicine is saving lives. Nuclear energy saves lives. This is something that we try and bring out, and we're very keen on trying to understand where the synergies, as being discussed earlier on, can be set up not only with fission power, but the nuclear medicine side, but also using fission power and its further applications. You've got district heating there as well, up on the screen, industrial heating. These are things actually that aren't new. They've been about for a number of years. But some of the YGN members are saying, well, why is there not advanced projects? They want to be involved in something they can get behind, something they can give their spirit into. So that's the type of views that's coming out. Hydrogen production. The big buzzword that's going about in society at the moment. Let's power our cars and our transport systems with hydrogen. Okay, renewables can be involved, definitely. Let's progress that as well where possible. But what about nuclear power as well and the applications that come with that? Is there enough R&D for sector coupling? That's one of the kind of views that's coming out from the YGN, because they really want to get behind positive developments for society. And one of the areas, which I'm happy to say, the ENS YGN is doing and promoting, is we have a conference every 2 years. We had one in 2017 in Manchester, massive event. It was great, about 500 people, really bringing out the kind of view from the Industrial Revolution to where is the next Industrial Revolution and Industry 4.0. That was a kind of vision from the previous one. The next one is all about the links between nuclear medicine and isotope production, because it's going to be based in Belgium and in collaboration with the Belgium and the Netherlands. And as you probably know, there's some really great communities there in regards to R&D in these areas. So this is a blatant plug, actually, as well. So if anyone wants to attend, YGN age, which is 35 years or younger, or honorary YGN age, just however you feel inside, I won't complain. Go to the website and get involved. And this is something I want to put up here, and I'll only be very short now. Maybe you've heard about this. It's not a new concept, the hype cycle. Maybe you can't make out some of the things on the screen there, but it talks about things about developing of technology and the speed that we need to take to move things forward. And the point I want to make here is nuclear R&D doesn't need to be just nuclear R&D. So the whole vision and involvement that we're seeing from the YGN is there's much more mobility between skill sets, between jobs, professions, countries, areas, and they're involved in lots of areas. Might be in digitization, advanced manufacturing, digital twins. All of these things are on the hype cycle. All of these things we need to embed in the nuclear industry. We do not need to be sitting on our own chair over on the side. So really want to bring all this together, because I tell you what, the YGN community is a mobile community, and it is not just thinking about being in its silo. So the nuclear industry has to wake up and open its arms to really bring in a lot of these crossover synergies. And it was great to hear a lot of talk about Horizon Europe and all these big programs that can benefit and be involved with the likes of Euratom and other national programs. So we're very keen and help promoting that from a YGN point of view. And one of the things that we've done recently is we signed this delegation not delegation, a declaration, there you go, at the ICAP Festival in sunny, well, it was close to Nice. I was going to say the name, but I'll get the pronunciation wrong, so I won't, I'll leave it at that. 42 nuclear societies signed up to this. That represents 80,000 scientists, all saying, okay, there's a lot of business as usual R&D investment going on. It's time to change the game. You know, there's a lot of policy and decision makers opening their eyes to the benefits of nuclear. It's now time to turn that policy discussion into real action. We need to double the investment. I mean, we really do. And doubling investment doesn't need to be just double it in nuclear, but open up that whole spectrum of R&D across the area and start bringing in the benefits that way. So that is something we signed last month. That was presented at the Clean Energy Ministerial. There was colleagues over there from the YGN in Vancouver. So it's a great thing, just to mention that as well. So that's just an example, well, a few examples of some of the areas that the ENS YGN is involved, and that's all I'm going to say right now, because I want to hand over to my honorary YGN colleague to say a few words now on EN, I believe. So I've been Nathan Patterson. Good night.